Well, good evening, all you Kyber Cave people. How are you? Yeah,
Hello there.
just
I
smack
am
something.
still, I love our little side community. I'm still going through all the comments that have like popped up before the show started.
Even me, I'm in there too.
All
Because
right,
I
we
love
just
I
got
love
it.
our people. I love chatting with our people. So, good evening. I hope you're all well. Welcome to Saber Rattle. We have a great show planned for you guys. But Van, how are you doing? Let me ask that first.
I am well. Um, hmm. I don't think we really have any. God, it's been so weird. It's like either everything is happening all at once or nothing is happening. There's no middle ground.
I can
I'm just
understand how
waiting
that
for the next
feels.
convention, but we don't have anything on the calendar for a while. So if anybody has any place they would like Kyber Cave to come, we're looking for dates. We're desperate
Yeah,
for dates.
email kybercave@gmail.com. Ever since I started my Twitch channel back up 2 weeks ago, I've been pretty busy. I was actually up Friday night working on KCP and my channel until about 1 a.m., which is extremely
Ooh,
late for me. But it's because Friday nights I reserve for my kids, and after they go to sleep, that's when I work. That's like our pillow fort night thing that we talk about. Like this is why this is a bed right now and not a couch. So I'm doing fine. Just want to sleep. uh, I mean, like who doesn't? But
I get
guys,
it.
you know what our first thing that we do on Kyber Cave Productions Saber Rattle.
Hey, before we.
You want to
Oh,
do
okay.
something
I'll do it after.
first? You can do it
No,
first.
well,
Fine. I'll replay
Say
my
Wong had a
music.
comment over here about Fan Expo, and I just wanted to make sure people in the Bay
Address.
Area knew that prices will be going up very soon. So if you do
Okay.
not have your tickets already for Fan Expo, get them soon. All the big like Mark Hamill going to be out here. Need I say more?
Yeah. I mean, come on. All right. So
Ewan McGregor. Okay, nerdy news.
I'm gonna do my news, darn it. All right, first in the nerdy news, Minecraft Star Wars Path of the Jedi downloadable content. It comes November 7th. If you like Minecraft and you like Star Wars, this is the thing for you. So if you want to check out
Wow.
more information about that, check it in the link in the description below. I will also post a link in the chat because I have everything ready.
That sounds like it's going
um
to destroy a lot of lives. There's going to be a lot of people that will
a lot
not
of
be seeing their
people busy
spouses
doing this
or their
and not like
children.
paying attention to other or hey, play with your children. I mean,
Right. Oh, that's always an option too.
yeah, I mean, come on. I'm thinking about doing it and like streaming it on my channel, like because it looks like a lot of fun, or just streaming it on KCP even.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So woohoo.
Ooh.
Next we have the news. It's actually something Ark here brought to me. And that is there are free roaming Star Wars droids at Galaxy's Edge now, guys. They dance, they kind of like beep back at you. And if you want to see a little bit more about them, I actually have a video of them later for Talk of the Town that I inserted in.
They actually like walk around, and I mean these droids
Mm-hmm.
are. It's kind
Yeah.
of I haven't played. I know my son's played Jedi Survivor, but what is it called? The BD unit that Cal has on his back. I
Okay.
think they're designed to look and be kind of like that. But if you haven't had a chance to see these videos, I'm sure there's a ton of them on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube and Twitch and all the other places, TikTok especially. But these little units are so cool.
Yeah.
It's
I want to
it's
say hi to
exciting to
Scott and
see.
hi Matt.
What's up,
Yeah.
Scott? Thank you for tuning in. We've got a fun episode for you tonight.
Yes. Yeah,
What's up, Mike
they
Berger?
look adorable. So if you want to check out a short video when we do Talk of the Town, our last segment of the show, we close out. There is a video of them walking around, making
Oh
their
yeah,
sounds and
so hang
everything.
out for Talk of the Town.
Yeah, so hang out for Talk of the Town at the end, and you'll get to see that. But I also posted a link in the chat, and they're also in the description below if you're watching the upload of the article about the droids, and you can actually see videos from the Disney Parks TikTok itself. That's not where I got my video from, but you can see some more video there as well. So that is your nerdy news of the
Woohoo!
day. All right, we'll get us back
Nerdy
to our
news.
side. Nerdy news.
I want
All
to invite
right.
everybody to like, subscribe, and please leave a comment. Leaving a comment helps in the algorithm a ton, helps get this show out to everybody. And we've been doing this for 2.5 years, so we want to spread all the love that
Can
we
you believe
can,
Matt
like peanut
in
butter and
13
jelly for the
days?
soul.
In 13 days, it'll officially been a year and a half since I joined.
Wow, I was looking at some of our back stuff and I saw John has been with us for 7 months too. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like it's so weird
Mhm.
how this family has grown and blossomed in the last year, year and a half,
And
2 years almost.
how fast it can fly. Like, if you guys didn't know the background, most of you do. I joined the channel 2 days before my first live show. And I met Van's store manager,
Right.
is a good friend of mine. I came to the store the first, like the day of my show, and we took 3 hours going over what he likes and what we edited. And I rushed home and got ready, and here I was for the show. And I've been here ever since. Not every Sunday, but I've been here on KCP ever since, and we've grown so much. If you guys didn't know when I joined, because I keep track of analytics, because that's what my job is. We had 468 subscribers when I joined, and now we're over
Yes. And
1,000 more than that.
last week you
Last
just hit
week we
1500
Yep,
and
last
mailed
week
a
we hit
saber to the
1,500.
UK.
And we mailed a saber to the UK because every 100 sabers we give away saber. And last Sunday's was a very fancy NeoPixel one. And so that is very exciting. And we already, I think, at 15, like 12, 15, 13, something like that. And we have when I first joined, we also had 2 shows a week. And now we have a show every day of the week. And we actually have, we're going to be having double on Friday at some point soon. So keep an eye out for that. If you guys want to
Yes, I
check
know.
out
I
our other
think double on
shows,
Wednesday, I believe.
yes, if you want to
What
check out our
no.
other shows, just we're gonna give you lots of stuff. If you want to check out what our other shows are currently, just look in the description below. We list all of our shows below today's show notes. Now, moving on, guys, we have James Kaiser, who's the producer of this show. He does our flow of the show segment every week, where he brings us a flow artist, whether it be gloving, saber spinning, fire dancing. But this week it is James Kaiser himself, known as Darth Cephalus, doing some very fancy nunchuck work.
Woo-hoo.
So enjoy Darth Cephalus. Do you know how many times I would hit my head if I even tried?
I was thinking that if flames wasn't bad enough, man, just get little sticks that are just gonna bonk you in the head the whole time.
Yeah, I probably have bloody ears just from like smacking myself in the side all the time. So that was very impressive. Thank you, James Kaiser, for bringing us yourself this
Woo!
week, treating us to yourself as flow of the show. Now, our segment for the guest is coming up, but I want to remind people we've got
Ooh.
merch, y'all. We have Kyber Cave merch. Look,
Woo!
I even have a phone case here. Okay,
I have
I've
I have
got
a Retro
here's a Retro
Alcove
Alcove
t-shirt.
shirt. That is our gaming show on Monday. Gaming upload show on Mondays, where Graveyard and a friend, usually a friend, joins him for a retro game. Some fun stuff like Myst. Next
Blast
week,
from
we're
the
probably going to be
past.
doing. We have seventh guests that he and I did on the show recently, and they came up with the VR like updated version of the show. So we're very excited to try that. I'm going to be watching him do VR.
Yeah.
With those big thingies on and stuff. Graveyard, I love you. Anyway, I'm really excited for that. So, guys, yeah, if you want to check out our merch shop, go to kcpmerch.com. And you can check out all of the really cool merch there. We've got Beard in the Chair. We have a new show on Friday nights that Fourzze just recently started. And
Ooh.
we have a Beard in the Chair merch, so you can check that out. There's actually some really cool looking merch there. Where like Beard in the Chair logo is like a split with Graveyard and Forest faces on the side,
The
and on
two
the
beards
mouse,
come together.
yes, the beards come together, but on the mouse pad they go boop, and they're on the sides of the mouse pad, like one of those long desk ones, and so they look really really neat. So make sure to check that out. But we have our guest coming up, sir. Would you like to take it away?
I would. I am excited about tonight's guest. Tonight's guest, for from the people that hang around here, we get a lot of, we get a couple of Star Wars fans around here. So
What?
a lot of my guests, or a lot of our audience tonight will know this gentleman through his work on Star Wars, but it's actually some of the other stuff that he does that I was kind of gigging out about when I was reading his IMDb. So I am very excited. This is our first time having Mr. Kevin Edward Thompson on the show. So with no further ado, please roll that film, Mets. You there, Kev? Hello there. Are we having Are we having audio problems?
Unfortunately, it sounds like he cannot hear us. We're gonna try to get that sorted out. Yeah, once you try, Kevin, I'm gonna type. Okay. I'm gonna
In our
send it to your
comment box.
Facebook. Yeah, I'm gonna type uh try
We
disconnecting
can't hear
and
you.
signing back in. Yeah, we can't hear him at all, and I don't think he can hear us.
So for the people in the audience, and there's Kevin right there himself. You see, we didn't lie. We have a little private chat on the side of the screen that
Yeah, I'm
lets us
sending it
talk
to
to our
both our
guests.
Facebook and the private chat. I've instructed him to sign out and try to sign back in. We actually did a sound check right before the show, and everything was working fine. So I'm not sure exactly why we are having some mic issues where he can't hear or see us. So now he has signed out, and he will just click the link again and sign back in.
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
Yeah, sometimes there's some kind of weird connection issue that happens. It's not something on our side; it's just the internet. That's just what happens sometimes. And so but while we're sitting here and hanging out, guys, I'm gonna be a little shameless plug. If you want to check out twitch.tv/metzojd, I have my own personal channel that I just restarted about 2 weeks ago. And I have a goal to get to 15 subs by the end of the year. So if you could, I'd really appreciate you checking that out. If you use Amazon Prime, you can actually sub for free every month. You get one Prime sub to use on a streamer every month. So if you'd like to check that out, I'd really, really appreciate it. I have goals that I'm aiming for to make things really good for the viewers, and so I need the help of that. Can you hear what, Sangwon? Can you hear us?
I
I
think
mean,
he was talking about Kevin.
oh, okay.
Or I mean, yeah, Kevin. Kevin's
Yeah, I figured out what he was talking about. Shameless plug. Yes, Mike Berger, shameless plug. I do enough work on the channel. I think I can get a shameless plug every now and then.
I'm trying to set all the TVs around me and I'm just having no luck.
Oh,
What's
no worries. Mezzo here is also an ambassador for 2 gaming decor setup companies. You can actually check those out on my Twitch. I have the information there, and on my Instagram, actually. They actually have really good causes. Nomad Trek has a cause for Children's World Hunger, global hunger for children, and a portion of proceeds go to that. And then Canvas Store, which is when I just became an ambassador for last week, their cause is mental health awareness. And so when you purchase things from their companies, a portion goes to the charities for those organizations. If you visit their website, you can actually find out more about their cause and which ones they're connected with. All right, Kevin is back, so let's see if the mic issue is sorted out. Hello, Kevin.
I can hear you now. Before
perfect,
that's why
and we can hear
I was
you.
waiting
All right,
for you guys to cue me.
yeah, and I was like, wait, I don't think he can hear us.
You guys are kind of doing like crowd waving. I was like, oh.
No, I think there was just some weird connection issue, but now that you're back, I will remove myself, and you guys can just get along.
Oh, we don't want to remove yourself. You can, but okay. We'll see you later, Maisel. Maisel.
Hello, hello. All right.
That was a kind of a farty way to start this.
That's all right. We'll make up for it. We'll have a fun time. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. A little tired. We had a big weekend, but hey, I'm here for you and ready to talk about all sorts of things.
I love it and I appreciate it. I wanted to ask you really quick because we had a small conversation before this got started, but in a bunch of those few pictures that came in the beginning introduction, there was a beautiful young blonde woman. Is that your wife?
That is my wife, Tracy Thompson, the author of our book. Yes, because I couldn't. Yes, she's a good looker. Yes, I'm a very lucky man.
How long have you guys been married?
We have been married 36 years.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. Congratulations. Yeah, you guys just love. I could see the love between you guys. You can see sometimes you could see almost like an aura bubbling off of people when they're happy with their partners.
Thank you.
Before you were telling me about what you did this weekend. You were telling people that you had a busy weekend. Why don't you tell people a little bit about that weekend and what you were doing?
Well, my wife and I both belong to a nonprofit called Little People of America, and it's for short-statured people who are under 5 feet tall and have all sorts of have like a skeletal dysplasia type of condition, which is usually dwarfism, started by the late actor and friend Billy Barty back in the late 50s. And so now we're here 50 plus years later and we're still going strong. The first convention was about like 15 people, and now it's over 3,000. So, and it's go. This was the Western Regional, which was held in Glendale, California, and you had every state from the Rockies west, and was represented, and so we had little people and parents of little people from almost every state of that area. We had about 300 people for that. And that's my wife does the banquet, and so we put that all on. She does and so we were just and we help out wherever we can. We're just like journeyman, whatever we need to do. My wife and I, Tracy, she will she accepts that whole I'm going to do the job. This is what I'll do. You want me to do it? I'll do it. Don't ask questions. I'll do it. It'll be fabulous. And it always is.
When we were first talking, you had said it was a Little People's Convention, so I didn't know if it was like an acting type thing, but it seems like something where you just learn about I mean, everyday challenges that little people might deal with that maybe people don't think about, or maybe new innovations that come up that help you in life, or
Exactly, exactly. Those things are like the kids going to school. Back when I went to school during the dinosaur age, um, I had to load all my books on my backpack and ride my bike home. So one, where do you find a bike that my child can ride, because you have to have a very very small bike. Nowadays they do make very very small bikes, but when I was a
right?
kid they didn't. I had to have a custom made by my family. They cut down a bicycle so that I could ride it.
Wow,
And then I would, nowadays they say, oh no, you get two books. You get a book at home and a book at
that's
school.
cool.
So therefore, you don't have to ride those books in the rain, in the snow, just whatever. Because sometimes that many books weighs more than the little person themselves.
Right,
My
right.
school district, my family had no idea to do that back in the day. So now those are one of a simple innovation of where a child will not fall behind because they didn't bring their book home. Their book's already at home.
Right, right.
You can't
I
say I
saw
forgot my homework. It's like, nope, it's right there on the
it's right here.
kitchen table. It's right there.
Arr. I saw
That
in your bio you were, I think it said you were one of six children.
yes,
Were you the only person that was born a little person, or did you have
yes, I'm the
other?
only. Yes, that is the common thread of most little people are born to average sized parents.
Mhm,
And my
mhm.
parents were average size. My wife's parents were average size. And what is funny, not haha, but we had we're having children for ourselves. We had a 50%, no, 75% chance of having a little person and a
Right,
25% chance of having an average size child. And
right.
we had an average size child.
Of course.
And so he's a great kid. He loves his mother, and can't think. I could talk the whole 40 minutes about my son, but I won't. But he's doing great, and he's we're very he was a healthy, bouncing baby boy. He was half the size of my wife coming after had a
Wow.
C-section, and so he was 29 inches, uh,
Wow.
29 and a half inches tall when he came out. My wife is only 48 inches tall.
Wow. He was literally half. Wow. That
Yeah,
is something I've never really thought about before. You put a whole new image in my head.
right. And that's one of the things of when you look at little people in Hollywood. When's the last time you saw a little person on a commercial?
Right. Right.
When's the last time you saw a little person selling insurance or buying insurance or
Right.
not being a McDonald's character, which was great. And I knew all those guys. They don't really use little people in those roles anymore. The whole McDonald land and all that
Right.
is, but just buying a burger or working at McDonald's, you don't see that.
That's
We
totally
do that. We
true.
have we have lawyers, we have doctors, and so that's one of the things about this convention too is that you try and show that your child can be the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company or the president of the United States. There's no limits
Right.
for them to hold back to. They can be anybody.
I bet it's easy for you to pick out families that it's their first time at the convention. They're probably
At times,
nervous and
yeah,
don't know what to expect.
yes, yeah. And so my wife and I both love to make them feel comfortable, and that's the whole thing is that it's you don't it's just it's a different path of where you were going. There's a great thing, the tulips from Holland, of where you think having a baby, you're going to be going to Paris. But
Right.
once you have a child with special needs of some sort, you're not going to Paris anymore. You're going to Holland. And it's like, Holland? What the heck? I wasn't planning on going to Holland. That's
Right.
just it, though. you're now going to see the canals, you're going to see the windmills, you're going to see all the countryside of the Netherlands and Holland, where you wouldn't have done that before, and now you do because you have your path has changed,
Changed.
and
I
that
remember seeing that. I'm actually a special needs teacher during the
okay
day.
then.
When we're not selling lightsabers, that's what I do. So I definitely understand that analogy.
Mhm.
Have you seen have you seen a lot of, I mean, when dealing with things with little people, have you seen a lot of changes since you've been a child, for the positive, or is it a little more stagnant than you would like things to be? I know
It,
you mentioned that you know, Hollywood is not as inclusive when they're showing the commercials as they could be.
well,
Um,
okay, take away Peter Dinklage, which is he's a fabulous actor, wonderful actor,
right.
and a friend. Um, and when's the last time you saw a little person on TV?
Right, right.
Just
That was
in a
supposed to be the
movie.
whole thing about
In
Willow,
a
right? It
movie.
was supposed to be a regular adventure, but it just happens to be a little person as the main character, correct?
That was, but it was more of. I always thought the Time Bandits did it much better because they just happened to be. It could have been uh, four comedians, five comedians doing that average size. It could have been an ethnicity of doing all that, and they just said, "No, we're going to use little people," and I think they killed it, and it was great. And then so now they're going to do Time Bandits 2 and not use any little people. I don't know.
Oh,
I didn't get an
wow.
audition. Yeah, they're not using. That's the best part of it. I
Right.
mean, everybody did a great job across the board, but the little people in Time Bandits was the best part.
Right. You know, man, I'm so happy you mentioned that. That's one of my absolute all-time favorite movies when I was growing up. And the thing that I loved about Time Bandits was, of course, there were several jokes that were specifically about them being little, that a typical size person wouldn't have been able to pull off. But for 80% of the movie, it was just an adventure movie
It
about
was
these guys that happened to be little, you know,
little,
these scoundrels. You loved them for how, you know, how terrible they were, more than, you know, their size had anything to do with it.
Og made a horrible smelling tree, and they got sent down to repairs, and that's where they found the map. It just happened to
Right.
be that way. And I don't know, the ginkgo biloba is really huge right now, but if
Mhm.
you ever smelled a ginkgo berry where they make
Right.
the whole thing, you'll remember that it smells like dog poo. It smells horrible, the berry of a ginkgo plant tree.
Right.
Oh, it's
Well,
horrible, just horrible. Oh, jeez.
I'm excited to hear about. Well, you know, I didn't hear anything about Time Bandit 2 until you had mentioned it, other than they're changing it. That's such a weird thing, you know, especially in this time when everyone's blaming Hollywood of being really woke, and you know, using inclusivity
Not
when
here.
it's not supposed to.
And
It
in
doesn't seem
fact,
to run every direction.
all right, when you read Lord of the Rings, how big was Gimli?
Uh,
How big? Gimli, the
he was a
dwarf.
dwarf, right?
Right.
Yeah.
How big was he?
I don't
No,
remember the size
tell me in
offhand.
your head. Is he 2 feet? Is he 4 feet? Is he
I
5 feet?
would say he's about 4 feet, maybe four and a
Four
half
feet
feet.
five, 4 feet five, which I am. I'm a
Right,
strong
right,
guy. I can wield an axe. Never got an
right.
audition. Never got an audition.
Wow.
They decided to, back then, they were using this whole AI thing that was called CGI. They
Right.
shrunk John Rhys Davies, who was 6'2", to play the dwarf.
Wow.
Right. So then I've had fantasy geeks say, oh, well, it's a fantasy dwarf. It's a dwarf. And they shrunk an actor to play a dwarf. Did any dwarves audition for this? No.
Right.
The the hobbits, could have been a different type of dwarf. There's 450 types of dwarf.
Right.
So Warwick Davis is not the same type of dwarf as, say, Peter Dinklage or Billy Barty or Jerry Marin, who is the Lollipop Guild. Those are 4 different types of dwarfism, all little people. So when you call in somebody for an audition, I want a little person. Oh, that's funny. What's in your head that you think of a little person? Much like the Hollywood Shuffle. You know, you didn't play the part black enough.
Right.
And it's 3 white people talking to Robert Townsend, who's black, going, what are you talking about?
Right.
So I played it like I played it. He goes, you know, we just wanted a little blacker. And it's like, and he's looking at him going, what does that mean?
Right. And, you know, I want to ask a question, and if in any way you can't answer this, maybe you're not comfortable because you know the person that I might be asking about, or because I know, you know, with
I
with
know
SAG and
everybody.
everything, the discussions and everything, I know there's certain things that actors are limited from time out. So whatever it is, if you don't feel comfortable, please just feel free saying this. Especially lately, when you've been watching Disney, and with all of the blow up over Snow White that's happened, do you feel like Peter Dinklage may have kind of closed the door, almost like,
No,
okay,
no, not at all. They were already not cast. It's more of an excuse. Peter had a definite point of where are the regular roles? And with Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, it had already been cast. It had already been cast. Peter's just trying to shed a light on it, but he doesn't want to give it more promotion. The thing with the Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs was, what's your favorite part about Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs?
Well, it's the 7 Dwarves, the different characters and
Exactly.
personalities.
So let's change that all up. Use a very pretty girl, but we'll say Snow. Do you know why she's called Snow White?
Well, I would assume it was for her skin tone.
Skin tone.
Right.
So now nothing against the actress playing it, but so now we have a whole different reason why she's called Snow White. We're now using average sized people for dwarves. So why are we calling it Snow White?
Right.
What, you know,
Kevin,
if
are there any
if we
examples?
said if we said let's do Gone with the Wind, but this time we're gonna do it in Seattle, and it's gonna have a grunge feel, and we're not gonna do it during the Civil War. We're gonna do it during maybe during COVID, and we're gonna have all the lockdowns, and we'll do that. But we'll have some great music in there, get some grunge stuff going on, and maybe we'll have Julia Roberts and Michelle Kwan. Yeah,
Wow.
Michelle Kwan, no, Michelle Wee from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Right.
Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh. I'm sorry, that's perfect. Michelle Yeoh, she'll be the evil queen, but boy, because we can have all these fighting scenes, do that, but it's still gonna be, we're gonna have that tendency in the storyline of Gone with the Wind.
Right. Wow. Yeah. I mean, Disney has a ton of examples of I think even there's Cinderella that was a black Cinderella, and she had
That's
an
fine.
Asian
That
father, and they're
that on theater you can do those things. Bridgerton, we had mixed race cast, which nobody even cared about. There was the
right.
Cheerios commercial. With you didn't notice that it was a mixed race until somebody came on and said, hey, did you know that? And everybody went, oh, whoa, I didn't get that.
Right.
That's the type of thing we would love to see with little people.
Right.
Of where the little person walks, he's the next door neighbor, or he's the family. We have a lot of, say, reality shows out there. And what the tough thing about what reality shows and little people is that a reality show is not a reality.
Right.
They
often
go through
scripted.
they start at the beginning of the show. I mean, at the beginning of the season, they meet with the cast members who are the reality stars. I'm not talking about just the little people ones. I'm talking about everyone. And
Right.
you go and do an arc for not only the whole season, but every episode, every character. You
Right.
still do that in production meetings. What we want you to do is this. So is it really reality, or they're just not paying SAG wages?
Right. Right.
So, and then we go over a lot of, they cover a lot of stories. They cover the, Matt Roloff is a very good friend of mine and his whole family, Amy. And I've watched the kids grow up. And because I knew Matt, and I remember when Matt and Amy got together. So I've known them when they lived in an apartment before the
Right.
farm and all that. Oh yeah. Matt was he was a computer geek before computer geeks were cool.
Right.
And yeah.
I wanted to ask you, do you know of, are you aware of any Little People directors?
No, maybe voice directors, maybe behind the scenes. They might be doing news, but to be out there in the forefront of actual directing, I couldn't tell you their name.
Wow. I wonder, I mean, that seems like that would make a difference of the type of stories that we would get, or at least some of the characters we might see in some of these stories.
It was something I wanted to do in the beginning, but when my career, kind of it's took different paths. We tried to get different projects, never got the green light for those things.
Right.
You say, why is this on TV? Because many times that's the political thing of, we were going to give them this show. It may be maybe a dud. It's like when you watch some of the making of Hollywood shows. So why are we putting out duds? Because somebody wanted that, but you don't have that. We don't have that political strength and might that puts it out there. Whereas many of the ethnicities have a strong backing of, people are just realizing, wow, the Black culture has a lot, African American has a lot of people to go see movies, but they've been doing this for years. They've had their own sex in silent films.
Right.
They would direct themselves. We've had a much tougher time getting into that because they had enough people to get the productions going.
Right. I just feel like one of the appeals, Jordan Peele, he did the movie Nope, Get Out, and Us.
Oh yeah,
One of the
Peele is one of the funniest shows on TV. I still try and find those. Such intelligent comedy.
Exactly. And then to see him go on the other side and do horror movies is absolutely amazing.
And just kill it.
Right. One of the things I love about his movies, and I feel like particularly the movie Us, and it's something that I would like to see more, I guess, kind of in television for the little people community, but you can watch Us and the characters just happen to be Black, but they're not stories about necessarily a Black family or Black horror. It's just the characters happen to be Black. You could insert anybody you wanted into those characters, and it would be just as scary of a movie with that. I feel like that needs to happen more with little people, not necessarily movies about being a little person, but just a little person in a role that could have gone to anybody.
Yeah. One of the great neat things is Michael Dunn, who did Dr. Loveless back in the day of Wild Wild West, back in the late 60s, mid 60s, late 60s, early 70s, because it went into color, went from black and white to color. And then he also was nominated for a Academy Award for Ship of Fools back in the 50s. He passed away a while ago, but I was working with an actor named Stuart Pankin a while back, and we got to talking on the set, and he goes, "It's what's funny, and I bet you wouldn't even know this, but my first job was an understudy to an actor on Broadway." And I go, "Oh, really? Was the actor you were understudying for somebody famous?" He goes, "Yeah, Michael Dunn."
Oh wow.
Stuart Pankin is 6'2", and you remember him from Honey Shrunk the Kids. He's the neighbor. He's a big guy.
Right.
He does the voices of the dinosaurs on that. He was Daddy Dinosaur years ago. The Henson show. He's been in for years, but he's a big guy, and he's understudying for Michael Dunn, who's probably 3'11", 75 pounds.
Right.
And so you come in, you're expecting to see Michael Dunn on stage, and Stewart walks out.
The complete opposite.
And he goes, wasn't that great? You never know. He goes, I never went on because Michael did all this, every showing. But he goes, that would have been hilarious. And he goes, and that was always in the back of my head if I did go on.
What a shock the audience would be in.
Yeah, exactly. But they were both playing. I think they were playing guards in a Shakespearean play. So it was just a normal, just a regular old role, not fantasy, not anything, just a regular old guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Kevin, I wanted to ask you, when I was looking through your IMDb list, there was some movies that was like, oh my God, dude, I can't believe, just to be able to say that you were even associated with so many great. I saw Blade Runner in there, obviously, and that blew my mind. And then
Blade Runner was my very first line.
I saw that. That was your you were the teddy bear, or
I was the teddy bear.
Right. That must be amazing. Napoleon I also saw bear. the one that had me bowing down. That was it said you had a role in Weird Science. Weird Science is another one of my all-time favorite movies.
I am Chet.
You are Chet?
I am Chet.
Obviously not, not regular Chet.
What it was, well, no, Chet, the big pilot Chet.
Right.
What it was, oh shoot, I know his name. Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton wanted to do the part. He wanted to do Inside, and I was a puppeteer who was next to him.
Uh-huh.
And I was breathing and doing an arm. Mm-hmm. Because on this one he had to puppeteer the mouth to talk. And then he was another arm.
Oh wow. So you were inside this costume with Bill Paxton?
Yeah.
Was it just the two of you in there?
It was three of us, actually. There was another little person. I'm sorry. The other little person, Joe, was the other arm. And so, I was breathing, he was doing an arm, and he was helping out. So Bill got a little claustrophobic in there, because many times doing a costume role, you have to realize that it's not just there's a lot of other things going on besides trying to act and know your lines and get the reactions from the other actors and things like that.
Right.
It's a bit of survival. The outfit was 300 pounds. And so Bill just did one take and he said, I'm done. I can't do this. I wanted to do it. He really did. And he couldn't do it. So I learned the lines in one day. I learned all those lines in one day. I became the main puppeteer doing the voice and the lines. And then I had to do it. And because we tried to do it where I puppeteered the mouth.
Right.
And Bill would be on the side doing his lines, but they couldn't match it up.
Oh, wow.
They weren't happy with that. So then I had to learn the lines so I could do but I had to listen to the cadence of Bill. And so that's how I delivered the lines. Because I didn't.
So that's actually your voice during that.
No. That's Bill's voice. It's Bill's voice. But I'm doing all the puppeteering, but to get the interaction with Kelly LeBrock and the boy, the character of the puppet, the big 300-pound big pilot Chet.
Right.
I had to learn his lines and his cadence.
Wow.
Not in the way that I would say the line, because every actor says their lines differently. I learned it in his cadence, because later on he will be then doing looping, in post-production and putting his voice on. Chet.
Oh my gosh, that's absolutely amazing. How long were you in that thing?
I was in there for a lot. I'd like to I probably at least an hour at a time, hour to 2 hours at a time. And if you didn't bring a snack in, you're not going to get any snacks.
Were you like zipped in there, or was it
It's zipped
like
in there. We're sitting there because it's a big, but it's all hollow inside.
okay,
But it's
okay,
all um, uh, the the foam rubber, like very toxic and
right?
flammable
Oh God,
foam
that's got to be
rubber.
reassuring. We're
Oh,
gonna zip
especially
you
when
inside this
there was a
flammable.
yeah. I'm getting to the good part. There was a fire on the set.
Oh my God!
We heard this, and we were in the outfit, Joe and I, and it says, "Ah, we got a little fire over here. Oh, I think it's out. Oh no. We have to let's clear the stage. Clear the stage. Clear the stage. Let's clear the stage. We're in this 300-pound outfit.
Right? Are you listening to like microphones or something, or
Yeah, well, you can hear it there, but it's like, oh my God. So we're trying to pick the thing up. We can't. And then
right.
but 6 guys come in and pick it up. Must have been about 6 inches off of there, and we scooted out. And then they put it down. We all left the stage. They got the fire out. We went back to work that day. But then now that
Wow.
since we're in the outfit and a fire has already been on, it's like we're always just
Right.
thinking about that one, going, what if we're gonna have a fire? What if we're gonna have people save us? But it's
Right.
it's one of those things you're not thinking about, but you're thinking about. Now it's back in the day when people would walk around with cigarettes on the set. No
Right.
smoking. No smoking was not, and so you have to warn them. Hey, no smoking. And they're like, why?
Please don't set me on fire.
What is this thing flat? And they're pointing with their cigarette. Is this thing flammable? What do you
Right,
think?
right, right, right.
You mean if I go like this, they'll catch on fire? And they're like, and the art, the guys who made it are going, yeah,
Right.
really, it will. So
Have you had
I go,
experience on any movie sets? I know Kenny Baker was talking about in the first Star Wars movie that sometimes people would forget that he was in there and they would
oh
break
yeah,
for lunch. You've
oh
had
yeah,
people forget that you were inside a costume or something?
oh yeah,
Oh
oh yeah,
wow.
definitely. I couldn't tell you which one because it's happened that many times, and I don't want to get somebody in trouble, but yes,
Right.
it does happen because you're there. Sometimes you can't move. I've been in outfits that are 75 pounds.
Right.
And I mean, Chet weighed 300 pounds. You
Right.
know, and it's
Right.
like, okay, that's lunch.
Somebody help me.
Oh yeah, it's happening. I've seen other people. There's a story of one of the guys in um, in Star Wars Return of the Jedi. He um, was forgotten. He was in uh, the desert scene, and they forgot
Oh,
him.
wow.
And
Oh
they're
wow.
having lunch, and somebody goes, "Hey, have you seen?" Oh my gosh, and they realized where he was,
Right.
and they ran back, and he was still in the outfit. He couldn't get out of the outfit. He couldn't
Oh.
really, and he was just drenched, and they fed him water, and he was okay, but he was a tough guy. He was a stunt guy, and it was one of those, whoa, they could have died because they forgot him in his
Right.
outfit.
I would think that as a little person with all the different roles you do, because a lot of times you're used for if fantasy characters maybe or leprechauns or things that
I
aren't
love doing a leprechaun. I've really worked on my type of accent, and I've actually been told, "Are you from Ireland?" Oh yeah, it's sure to be good. I'm right from Ireland. I'm like, where are you from? I'm from Cork. I don't know.
right,
It's just
right.
a town that came out. And somebody goes, "You do sound like," or they're like, "You don't really sound like that. That area." I was thinking more like this area. Oh, I've been there too. I've lived all over the Emerald Isle. So
That's fantastic.
yeah. And in fact,
I was gonna
that was part of that's one of the reasons how I got what's the part on Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Right.
The part was just a little guy who goes in on St. Patrick's Day, puts on a leprechaun outfit, and who knows what he's going to get? Is he going to get paid? People going to going to get free drinks? Is he going to get a kiss from a pretty girl? He's just, this is what he's doing. Charlie Day thinks, I'm a real leprechaun.
Right.
He's caught his leprechaun.
Right. I saw that on your IMDb list.
Oh, that was great. Those guys love to do another episode with them. They were some of the nicest guys and just funnest guys out there. We had a great time.
That's fantastic. I wanted to ask you, we were talking about the chat and we were talking about getting locked in. It seems like little people don't have the option of being claustrophobic. Like, it seems like you're put into a lot more situations.
You don't have the option, but if you are trying to do any actor, if you are trying to do mask work, or even sometimes, sitting in a makeup chair and having an hour's version of makeup can be, it can be claustrophobic because you have to sit there while the makeup artist, applies the different appliances, and it can get, rather, especially if you have two people working on you, they're, it's like getting back there and going, whoa, what's going on here? And so, many little people actors are claustrophobic and they don't know it until they got the job.
Wow.
Which most people don't realize that, because it is a different feeling. When you go on to Halloween now, when you put the mask on, usually people put the mask on, walk in the door, and everybody goes, oh, look at the mask. Blah, blah. Soon, within 15 minutes, they're like, okay, this mask coming off. This was a stupid idea. and they keep the mask in their hand and never to put it back on again. Whereas when you're working, it's on 14 hours a day.
Right. Yeah, I know. I saw an interview with Anthony Daniels one time, who I can't, as C-3PO, he said in all the movies he did, it was only one time where he got kind of claustrophobic on set. And I know for the first one, they would take hours like drilling his body together or whatever. So I just can't imagine being claustrophobic and knowing that you have all this prep time. Then not only prep time, then you got to go to work and do your job while you're having anxiety. And then there's a process to take it off, and then you got to do it again tomorrow.
Exactly, and you signed a 6-month contract.
Oh, wow, that's got to be hard to do. There's a question here for you from an audience member. It says, "I hear Warwick tries to keep in touch with all the Ewoks. Is that true?"
He does. I don't know if he keeps in touch with all of them, because even the Americans that I keep in touch with most of. In fact, I saw about 5 or 6 little people at this convention who had played Ewoks, and we were all friends before we got not so much the little people who were in London who did the village, because it's 2 separate different Ewoks. You have the village Ewoks who were British, then you have the American Ewoks who were the battle Ewoks. Except for Warwick, Mike Edmonds, Kenny Baker, and Jack Purvis. Those were the only Brits brought over.
Wow. Okay. And you were doing this. Let's get right into Star Wars. And actually, we've only got a few more minutes left, too. So, man, this has been an incredible interview. I'm having so much fun talking to you. You were doing that in Santa Rosa. Do you remember what time of the year that was? Like, how were you feeling inside your costume? Being in the woods.
Wait, who told you Santa Rosa?
Wasn't Endor up here in Northern California?
Yes, but not Santa Rosa.
Not Santa Rosa? I thought it was near. Okay.
Smith River.
Smith River. Okay.
Smith River, which is right on the border of California and Oregon.
Oh, well, I was way off. Okay.
Then they did some additional shooting in Eureka, California.
All right.
And I did a celebration of that a couple years ago for you at Eureka Film Commission. Had me, and hopefully I'll get back up there again.
Amazing.
They have a zoo up there in Eureka Zoo, and it has catwalks, and it looks much like the Ewok village.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, which is really fun. And so
Be
they could
great for cosplayers to go there.
look down on the um, look down on the animals and things. But Smith River is where we filmed uh, Re- Return of the Jedi on Endor. Endor
Right.
was basically a logging site that they were going to log after we were done there. So when we were blowing up trees, it was okay.
Oh
All those
wow.
trees that blow up, those are all a logging site. And so
Right.
it was logged soon after. And I think there's homes up there now of where we were shooting. But we
Right.
went down, we talk about in the book and things, is how we rode a school bus down a logging road to get to the location. And then we rode that same school bus back up the logging because we were in a valley where we
Right.
shot everything. We'd have to go up in the mountains and then down into a valley
Oh
to
wow.
shoot where we were shooting.
Right. And just so you know, FYI, you did have a book sale while since we've been on air. So Mezzo
Oh,
said she bought a copy of your book
thank
while
you.
you
Thank you very
while
much.
you're
Thank you. Thank you very much.
so when you were doing that by that time, now at that point you were already you were on this acting path. So this was another job for you. Were a lot of people on the set, were they all actors or were some people just little people that happened to fit the costume or
We were all sorts of walks of life because we had all worked on a movie called Under the Rainbow. And these
yes.
people were extras in Under the Rainbow. And
Okay.
then some of them were actor parts and things like that. And so we had people who worked at a bank. We had people who were teachers, just home moms.
Right.
And I was only 22 at the time. We had students. We did have people from actors from the industry who came up too, but they were all non-union extras. There was only 4 little people who were on a stunt contract. That was
Right.
Felix Silla, myself, and a gentleman who's no 5 of us. So Tony Cox, who rode the speeder bike,
Mhm.
Chris Romano, who was one of the guys who chopped, who's the second guy who chops to break the ATST.
Right.
Michael Gilden, who's banging on the ATST leg. He's got a couple other things, but he passed away. And then the late Felix Silla did quite a bit of it. And
Right.
Felix Silla is known as for a stuntman and actor for many, many years.
Right.
He stunt doubled all sorts of different kids, and then he played all sorts of different parts in movies and TV. So he had quite the extensive resume.
And I had noticed on your IMDb that you had several stunt gigs
Oh
in on
yeah.
your resume
Hmm.
as well. So did you go to school specifically for stunt, or is it that sometime you were the only guy in the room that could actually do it, so they maybe weren't as, I don't know, maybe dangerous as stunts, like light work would still be considered stunt work, or how did that work in your case?
In my case for Jedi, I was 22, so I was still going to college. I was working out with gymnastics in college at Pasadena City College. I was also doing mime. I had been a 2-time letterman in high school for gymnastics and wrestling, so I
Wow.
knew like fighting moves already from that type of things. They were most interested in my gymnastics training and my mime training because I was a
Huh.
street mime. Just
Right.
my teacher would bring us out to like the LACMA or some little area like Santa Monica, and we would all do mime, and then we put a hat out, and if we made $20, we split it off amongst our group, and sometimes some days we were better, and some days we were. So
Right.
it
Have you
was just
always
more, it
known
was
that?
more for fun and for training and to come up with storylines of a mime piece and things like
Right.
that.
Have you always known or felt that you wanted to be an entertainer?
Yeah, I wanted to. It's yes, I have. I've been entertaining since um, I joined probably since I was 11. I joined a team called the Hollywood Shorties, which was started by Billy Barty, and I joined the team at 11 years old because I
Wow.
could play baseball. And you need 9 guys who can actually play, who are physically fit and will take the time off to play this game. This was it was nonprofit. We would raise funds for all sorts of different things. We would raise funds for different schools. We played all over the United States, and we played half times at the Lakers and Clippers games.
Right.
I think the Denver Nuggets game and the Seattle Supersonics and several others. And what we did was, it's also comedy. So we're kind of a shorter version of the Harlem Globetrotters. And
Right. Right.
I started learning timing from Billy Barty and also Jerry Marin
Wow.
from the Lollipop Guild.
Yeah.
And
All
they would
right.
tell me, you don't, because a lot of it's the improv. So we were doing improv in front of hundreds of people, and I'm 12 years old. And you don't, sometimes it's like, we need a gag. What? We need a gag right now. We need to get so and so on second base home. And we're playing against
Right.
teams that don't really know us. They think they know us, and a lot of times a businessman, local celebrities, coaches of little leagues and youth leagues, things like that, uh, Laker cheerleaders.
Right.
And so we had a whole gamut of different opponents, whereas the Harlem Globetrotters have a set. Washington Generals know their gags. When
Right.
they do
Exactly.
something, all right, here's this gag, and this is coming up, and I'm supposed to do this. So many times we're working with local businessmen. We say, you got to do this. And they're looking at me going, what? They've never been. They're like, what? And we're doing a gag. What? We tried to set
Right.
it up earlier before this. Hey, we'll do this gag with you. We'll do this gag with you. And somebody else goes, well, I'm pretty funny. It's like, okay, we won't have a gag with you. But, and
Right.
so
What?
but then it's like, well, all right, we were going to do the gag with Mr. Johnson over here, but now we got to do it with you.
Right.
I don't know what we're doing. Well, okay, just listen to me and I'll talk you through it. And you're just mumbling underneath and saying, now I go like this, grab my shirt. What? Grab my shirt. Why do I grab? Don't ask questions. Just grab my shirt. And it's just
Right.
the different things of that. You're going to get a pie in the face. I'm going to go to what? Wham! You wouldn't
I'm
expect it.
sitting here listening to this, but
Yes.
I'm amazed. I'm still stuck on the fact that you had Billy Barty as your mentor.
Oh yeah. It was a second father to me.
Y- I was going to
He was
say,
a great guy.
because at that time period, there wasn't really a lot of well-known individual little people, right? So he had to have been a role model. I mean, I
Well,
guess.
my mom went to school with him at LA City College.
Wow.
And I mean, they didn't have classes together, but she saw him on
Mhm.
campus. And
Okay.
so they're about the same age. And so
Okay.
she's known about, she never knew that she was going to have a little person, but she's known of Billy Barty with like the
Hmm.
Spike Jones and all the movies back with Busby Berkeley and things
Right.
like that. They go back, years and years. And so she was a fan of the cinema, and so she would see him on screen. It's like, oh, that's Billy Barty. You know, she
Right.
didn't pay
Right.
money to go see him at any of his nightclub acts or something. Yeah,
Right.
but she
Well,
knew
and
who
then
he was.
you said that Billy Barty also started this organization that you and your wife were
Oh yeah,
part of.
he and several of the little people started Little People of America in the '57, and we have been trying to use the word little people since 1957. Everybody goes, isn't that just like you know
Derogatory term or something.
when did you guys want to use little people? And we go 57. That's
Right.
when Asian actors, Pacific Asian actors, used a different term for their they're all the different races
Mhm.
of being an Asian actor. Um, the Black African Americans had a different um, saying to them. We've had this one constant, and said, "Don't you guys
Right.
like to be called the M word?" And it's like, no. So that's a word from P.T. Barnum. Back in
Right.
the 1800s, he invented that word. And
Oh
it's more
wow.
of a freak. That's why it's a freak show word. And if we think of the way that you say it, midget, the D, the G, and the T, it's kind of like a banana type
Right.
of word of where you don't use pear. Pear's not a funny enough word. Orange, that's funny. Banana,
Right.
that's funny. Apple, not so much.
Huh.
Not so much.
Wow. I never
Raspberry.
thought of it in those terms.
That's that. Why don't we say blueberry? That's not. It's different words are funny. Midget, I'm sorry, to us is a very despicable word. We just
Right.
don't like it.
And
It's
if I
because
say little person, that's more encompassing of the, because
oh
you
yeah,
said there's
because
over 400 different types
right
of right. So
because
little person is more encompassing. Sorry, go ahead.
I am little, and I am a person, so I'm a little person.
Excellent, excellent. See, I learned something tonight. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Or you can call me Miss. People say I love that one. People say, "What do you like to be called?" I said, "Your Highness."
I
And
like to be called for
they
dinner.
give me a look and go,
There's a question here. Is it
"Yes,
disrespectful to say the M
yes."
word?
It's just very disrespectful. But there's little people who are in the industry, and they like to use that word,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't care. And in fact, I have fought for that word on different shows, and then I had a I had a writer say, "Don't tell me how to write," and it's
Mm.
like, wow. Whereas my wife has worked on, and I've had different shows where I said that word is not really
Oh,
best, and they go, "Oh my God, I didn't even know that. I did want to offend you at all, Kev. You're my friend. I don't want to. That's the last thing I ever want to do. What do you want? What do we change this to?" Then I'll tell them the way to do it, and they go, thank you so much. And
wow.
so, but other ones go, other whereas other little people will say, yeah, I don't care. It's you can't say that because that's it's a derogatory word. And
Right, right,
so
right.
do you want we've been trying to fight this word for almost 70 years now, and people are saying, oh, they're a woke culture and they would just want a new word. It's like, no, you just haven't been listening.
Right, right.
I know you do, Mizo. I know you do.
Man, we're past the 40-minute part, so I'm
Oh,
gonna
let's
try
just
to
keep
cut this
talking.
off.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
all
having a
right.
fantastic time talking to you. I wanted to ask you, what
Like
in your
I
acting
told Mizo, I
career?
said I can talk for 2 hours.
That's fantastic. Well, I just don't want to keep you because I know you and your wife had a long weekend. So I appreciate the time that you're spending with me. What do you think has there have you ever done any roles that has made you proud to be, say, representative of little people?
Oh
Like, have
yeah,
there been some really
it's
juicy
just
roles? Mhm.
I can never, I never, some every role that I play, even if it's a character or a fantasy thing, I'm proud to play the role because somebody wrote the part, and if I have turned down roles of where um, they've had you out of the outfit and you're a little person, and then they say, "Oh, you're going to do it this way," and it's like, no. And then there was some things that were not true to the scientific facts of little people, and so I said, no, we can't do that. It has to be changed.
Right,
And they said, we're not going to change it. And I hadn't been cast yet, and I said, okay, then I don't want the part.
right,
This
right,
is wrong. I can't do this with a face and say, yes, I wanted the part so bad I didn't care that it was fictitious and truth.
right,
Fantasy is one thing because you're in fantasy and you're taken into that land, but to portray falsehoods of little people is not what I ever want to do. Uh, and so many of the parts that they write, I always want to play another part, a better part,
mm,
but I've always looking for the the best role played because like a doctor. But my brothers are doctors and my dad was a pharmacist, and I just like to play a doctor on TV.
right, right,
When's the last time you saw that? Not in a reality show, uh,
right.
a theatrical or television programming.
Right. In fact, I had just noted, and I don't know this actress's name at all, but on Marvel, on Loki season 2, episode 2, one of the generals or whatever was a little person.
Yes.
And I remember commenting to a friend that, to me, that's how I like inclusion. She wasn't made a big deal. The role wasn't something that was specific for a little. She just happened to be a little person playing this role. And I was like, man, that is how, instead of, we hear a lot about woke Hollywood and how they're trying to gender swap or trying to change races. But I think that is the way that inclusion should be done. And really, Hollywood's been doing it. I mean, you see lots of movies in the 80s where people are swapped or there's inclusion, but they don't make a big deal about it. It's just what it is.
Right. Exactly.
Have you ever thought about writing, or are you a writer? I mean, other than, the novel.
Wrote the book, but before that, I wrote many different spec scripts, sent them in. They were always rejected.
Mm.
So I was working with some producers on a film idea. Everybody was excited over it until the green light never turned green.
Wow.
And we had it in a limbo state for a good 2 years. It was like, oh man, it's gonna start. We're getting there. We're starting to pick who's available right then. What big star was gonna be by. I had different things, and it's like, oh shoot, we can't go after this person because they just started a new movie. We'd have to wait for that, and then it just didn't go. And I've talked to other writer friends, and it's like, yeah, welcome to Hollywood.
Wow.
It's having that certain something, it's a kismet of having everything and just hit it. And
I mean, it just seems.
Then after that, that's just getting the script bought into development, and then getting it actually produced. And I don't know Liz Carr. I'm so of Loki. I don't know. I may know her from her face, but that was wonderful that she had that part, and I wish there was more parts like that. That's a great one. And it's but to just you just want to play those parts. I hope my best part is my next part.
Right. We do a show on Wednesdays that's about mental and physical disabilities and things like that. The other host of that show is a gentleman who's in a wheelchair. So a lot of times we talk about popular culture and how you don't see a lot of parts for actors in wheelchairs and things like that. One thing I've noticed, like when you had Black Panther come out, and I don't know why this was, but it was almost like an epiphany in Hollywood. Oh my goodness, Black directors can make movies too, and if we have a Black director, Black audiences will come out and see these movies. Like, do you feel like that time is coming for, or say, a little people? Like, is there a great movie out there that will just wake people up to the fact that there is a market for the movies that you might be in?
I hope so. I think there's a market. I think everybody enjoys a little person in a movie. I think that we need more little people going to, getting jobs as writers, and that would be nice. And then the writer would then try and write a part for a little person, whether it be at Madison Avenue of writers for commercials. It's just an accepting thing. Many executives do not like having I feel that's my feeling, because we're not on. So the executives must not like us in the movies. And so if the executive doesn't like you, then you're not going to get on.
I was just wondering or thinking, maybe I'm thinking about a writer who is, a standard person who maybe like they don't know how to write for a little.
I remember saying to an act, this is where you got to remember a writer as one who writes. I went to a writer and said, hey, have you ever thought about, I got this great part that would be great for this thing. And he looked at me and goes, I have 450 parts I could just recite right now that you could be great for.
Right.
But I've pitched and I've been rejected.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, because he's a writer. And it's just, it has that whole thing of saying, it goes back to Alien. Sigourney Weaver part was a male.
Right.
Her agent sent her in, sent that down there to Ridley Scott for that part. And Ridley had the thing go, never thought of that. Audition, she became the best one. There it is.
Right.
Everything everywhere all at once.
Yes, I was just gonna bring that up.
That part was written for Jackie Chan. And he suggested Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh, yeah.
Michelle Yeoh. And those guys did a silly movie called Swiss Army Man.
Right.
Those same directors. And so that was a bizarre movie, but then Everything Everywhere All at Once is real bizarre.
Right. I remember watching an interview with Michelle Yeoh, and she was saying, like, to me, you think of, was that Crouching Hidden Dragon?
Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Right. You think of all these, and she was just in the Shang Tsung, the Marvel. Was it Shang Tsung or not Shang Tsung? I'm thinking
it wasn't
Shang-Chi, dude.
Thank you.
What she did was, she did that. That wasn't any comic book unless it's a Chinese comic book. It was
right. My bigger point is that when you think of Michelle Yeoh, I can think of so many movies that she had been in, but she was talking about how grateful that this was the first time that she had ever seen a script that was written that an older Asian woman could play, and she's an incredible actress. I can't imagine passing her up or thinking.
If you look at the whole cast of that, the Daniel brother, not Daniel brothers, the Daniels and Daniel and Daniel,
right?
They just hit it out of the park with it was a coming home party with that. We had Short Run. We had Jamie Lee Curtis. It was these actors who have been around who playing parts that you never thought. I thought, everybody in that movie was just phenomenal and perfect.
Right.
But it wasn't people who you would think would be for those parts. And that's where a little person could be in one of those types of parts. Mm-hmm. Of where you're thinking outside the box,
right?
I had noticed let's get Jamie Lee Curtis, but have her 40 pounds overweight,
right?
Right. She was great. She was great.
Yeah. Exactly. I had noticed on your IMDb that you had a few horror movies and things like that.
I was in Critters. I was the big critter. In Night of the Creeps. I'm the creep.
Right. And then even I have to put this one out there. I saw just because this is an ode to my childhood. Thank you very much. I saw Garbage Pail Kids. Alligator, correct?
Alligator. An eyeball a day helps keep the doctor away.
Do you ever do conventions for Alligator, or do people?
Oh yeah, it's one of those things that didn't quite hit what I wish the writing of that one would have been more like Ninja Turtles,
right?
Like, cool, but they wanted us more like, oh, we're just cute and cuddly. We just look ugly. And
right. I remember that whole time. I was a huge Garbage Pail Kids fan.
That was one of the things. That's why he had the voice. It was more like a New Jersey type of alligator. Like they sent me that. Somebody had one. It was a little too big. They put it down the toilet. I grew to be looking like me in the sewer. Yeah.
What is your favorite role that you have ever done?
Well, that one was pretty fun. It was just coming up with the character. I like that one. It was a horrible movie.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it was just when you watched it, even as a kid, you're like,
Right.
you
It
know,
was
it
just
was,
senior characters.
yeah,
And there wasn't enough of
it,
them.
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we could have used more. I enjoyed creating the Ewoks. I enjoy creating a character of all of them. It's a process, and you create these characters, and they become your friend, and then you put them away in the closet, and every now and then they come back out and join you for a time on the couch, and you can
Right.
talk about them. So I don't have one character that I'm just so proud of. I was one of the first people to do a Jack Nicholson, like a Martian, like on Spaced Invaders. I
Right, right,
really
right.
studied. It was the type of Jack. It was, which Jack do you want? And so I watched a whole bunch of different Jack movies, and they wanted Witches of Eastwick. So it's like, okay, a little bit more like that. So not quite like, I'd like a chicken salad sandwich, please.
Woohoo! Not bad, not bad. I like it.
I haven't. See, that's one of those I collect Jacks in the closet, and then I pull them back out,
Right.
and we sit down and we talk about Blasny, the from Space Invaders. You know, I beat out
Right.
quite a lot of people for that. I had invented that character um, on the stage, and on the set when I
Right.
was doing it. I was doing the voice because we were doing the voices for that character, but I auditioned against other voice actors for that part.
Right.
And in fact, they were so scared that Jack Nicholson was going to sue the production because no one had done a Jack Nicholson.
Right.
No one had done a Jack Nicholson before that. And I had been doing the Jack the whole time on
Wow.
the set. And so they were trying to figure it out. And it wasn't till we started, because I had come up with a different character, which didn't sound so much like Jack, but a little bit of the tendencies. And so the director said, damn the torpedoes, we're doing Jack. If they sue us, so be
Right.
it. If he
And
sues
it
us, I
works.
don't think he will. So he said, go back to Jack. So it's like, okay, now I have to get rid of this other voice that I just invented and go back to Jack.
Right, right, right.
Jack was very, it was an easy one to slip into because the epitome of cool
Right,
is
right.
Jack.
Exactly. Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. When you did Return of the Jedi, obviously by the time Return of the Jedi had come up, Star Wars was already a big known
Yes.
franchise. Were
Oh,
you
I was
excited?
a geek. I was a geek.
Were you did you go watch the first movies in line? Were you in line for that?
I was in 1977. I didn't want to see the movie. Not at all. I was like, can't we go see whatever it was that was playing that was because there wasn't a line. And
Mhm.
my friends were the ones that says, no, no, Star Wars. That's what we're going to see. It's like, "Brr." So we sit down, and it's one of those big theaters.
Right.
I think I saw it in Pasadena, and it's like, bam! It's like, it's like, what the heck did we just watch when it was done?
Right.
And I took friends after that. I saw it 4 or 5 times in
Wow.
that, yeah. And then when Empire came out, I couldn't believe it ended that way. And I was like,
Right.
I actually stood up and said, "It's not over." My friends were looking at me going, "The credits are rolling, dude." It's like, "No, it's not over." And I'm like, "All right, get some popcorn. We'll watch the credits." But
Right.
it's over, Kev. It's over. It was over.
So
So
how
then,
was it for you to find out you were going to be in the third and final installment
oh,
after being a
I
fan?
didn't know. I really didn't know that I was going to be in Return of the Jedi until I got the part as a stunt guy and walked on the set at Elstree Studios and saw the Ewoks and saw Mark Hamill and Billy D and Carrie and Harrison and George, and I was like R2D2, C3PO. I'm
Wow.
like, I'm doing Revenge of the Jedi. Because they had said it's a standalone, you're a space alien.
Mhm.
They said, is this Jedi? You're a space alien on
Right.
a different planet. It's forest, and you have, they never really said that I was doing Revenge of the Jedi.
Right. But when you heard it was a space alien, there wasn't a lot of other science fiction at that time that was big, right?
Oh, this is true.
So you
But
probably had an
it
inkling.
was whispered quite loudly and plentiful. So I signed an NDA after the audition, so I couldn't tell anybody. I couldn't
Right.
tell anybody that about this, about even my audition. And so I was just waiting to get it.
Right.
And
How
then
long was it from the time of when you were done on set until you could go see it in the theater?
1982, probably about like early June of 1982, and May of 83. So almost a
So
full year.
full year.
Almost a
Oh
full
my
year
gosh, that must have been
that I could not talk about it.
right, a horribly
So
anxious year.
they started showing pictures of Wicket and Warwick
Right.
and like that. So then I could start saying that I am one of those guys. They're like,
Right.
which one? This guy? I was like, no, that's somebody else. Oh, so you're not this guy.
Right.
I'm that guy. I'm in 38 different scenes of the battle.
Wow. How long did you spend for shooting? How many
5
days?
weeks. 5 weeks on location. 1 week in London
Mhm.
at the Village, and then 5 weeks in Smith River.
Oh wow.
Northern California.
Yeah, that's a Did you have your own trailer, or was it like bunk beds with
Oh,
lots of several people, or
it wasn't bunk beds. It was one long bench on a
Mhm.
big community trailer, and we had 10 actors in there at a time,
Oh
trying to get
wow.
changed. So yeah, it was when you're a stuntman, you just get put in a room.
Right.
When you're an actor on the Ewok movies, you get a Winnebago for yourself, and
Right.
you're closer. You have your own restroom. On Return of the Jedi, the restroom was a mile and a half away
Oh wow.
in a Jeep ride, and you had to completely undress.
Oh my goodness.
Because there's not a trap door.
Right, right, right. Not like a little zipper on the back that's easy to come
Right,
down.
right.
Oh man, a mile and a half.
It's a
That's
zipper. Take the fur coat off. Take the foam rubber off. Take your feet off. Take your hands off. Take your mask off. In not quite that order,
so you
but
were in this thing all day long?
all day long.
Did you have the ability to at least like take your head off between when
They
you're just
didn't
sitting
like that,
around,
but
or
yes, at times, yes. It'd get up to 120 degrees.
I was
The
just
eyes
because
would
and
fog
that
up.
thing
The eyes would fog up, so then you can't see anywhere.
and how heavy, because you said it was a foam costume, right? Was
It
it
was
a
more the heaviness it wasn't that heavy. It was probably 30 pounds.
oh wow.
But yeah, run around with 30 pounds in your hand, and you can, but it gets tiring, and it's
Right.
all pushy on your shoulders, and the latex mask is sweating, and you're just the sweat comes down into your eyes. Then the fog,
Right.
it's like driving with a bogged over windshield.
Wow.
What I love to say is get in a dining chair.
Mhm.
I don't say to do this, because if you hurt yourself, you're on your own. I'm not telling you to do this, but what we were doing was like get on a dining chair, close your eyes, and jump. Don't do this. I'm not recommending you do this, but feel that that's the feeling, because you
Right.
don't know where you're going. Many times when you're walking, you don't know if you have a rock in front of you, a Furnus gigantus, which is a fern that's 6 feet high, furnished
Right.
which sometimes the greensman would plant right in front of us, and we'd run into it, and it'd be like a Keystone Cops. It went, wing.
I can't
That
imagine
wasn't on camera.
I can't imagine being a set director and having like 30 or 40 of these people in costumes and nobody can see what they're doing.
Right. Herding cats. It's herding cats. So when you had the stunt guys, we would have explosions, mortars, flying debris, some debris as big as 10-foot pieces of redwood tree flying at us.
Right.
Which is, that's 300 pounds flying at you.
Right.
And black powder bombs going off, mortars, squibs blowing up on you. Then the stormtroopers who couldn't see either. It was a different thing with those outfits. They can't see either. And we're doing it, and we're supposed to be doing hand-to-hand combat. We can't even see each other.
It's literally the blind leading the blind.
I'm doing those jumps like a cowboy. They call it bulldogging. Where you jump onto somebody else, and many times if they're not quite on their mark, and they can't see it, to lean left or right to see which way I'm going, and then it's basically an act of faith of I'm jumping out to jump onto, in the opening scene when the battle begins with all the Ewoks starting, when all the Ewoks jump onto the stormtroopers with that's me, but we did it several times because the stormtroopers were just off their mark and they couldn't see us, and we thought we knew where we were going, so all of a sudden, instead of hitting the stormtrooper, I'm hitting the ground.
Right. Oh my God. Kevin, have you ever broken anything on set?
No, luckily I haven't. Okay, and we were J.R. Randall, the stunt coordinator, kept all of us safe. No one really got hurt. I caught on fire a couple of times. There was bumps and bruises, and you were sore from the back from a long day.
Right.
But no one broke anything. No one got a concussion. So that was the thing. He kept us safe.
Excellent. So I do want to oh man, this has been such a fun interview. We'll probably have to come back again. I'd love to interview you again. I feel like there's a ton more stories that I can get out. But for the sake of some of our viewers that are here,
there's where the stories are.
Yes, and I know we have a link.
Then read the book and then come back and say, wait a minute, did that really happen? Yes, it did.
There we go. I know. Wait.
So available on Amazon. If you go to a local bookstore, it's order on demand, so your bookstore can order it if you're not an Amazon member. So you can order it, and your bookstore will then have it there too.
Excellent. There we go. There is the link there for anybody who is interested. Please go get your copy. Kevin, I've had an extraordinary time talking to you. If there's one thing you could leave with people, what would you like to leave them with?
We've been on strike for 6 months. If you're in the entertainment industry, need a job, hire me. I'm available. Got a commercial, available. I know we're still on strike, but once the strike ends, hire me. Life is good. We're just trying to survive this strike. Everybody's making money. We just want a little bit so we can make enough money.
Right.
Thing called benefits.
Those are nice things to have.
I'd like to have dental insurance next year.
That's definitely a good thing. If anybody out there is a director or working on any projects, remember Kevin is available, and it doesn't have to be a little person part. It can be any part. He is the perfect man for the job. So please check out Kevin Edward Thompson's IMDb page. You will be amazed at all the projects that he is in. What was that?
I said I'm no drama on set.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I've had such a great time. Thank your wife for us for all the hard work she did at the convention this weekend, and for helping you write the book.
Writing the book,
right?
People go, "Wow, it sounds like you, Kev," and she goes, "Off of your notes, no, this is me because I've been married to you, so I know how you talk." It's me
Right.
writing these words. I said, but it sounds so much like me. She goes, yeah, because I have to listen to you every day.
Right. Who knows you better, right?
Exactly. Who knows me better?
They said they need to hire the good people like Kevin. Thank you. Thank you there.
Thank you very much.
All right, Kevin. Thank you so
All right.
much. You have yourself a wonderful evening.
Thank you, guys. Good luck to you. May the force be with you. And positive juju sent your way.
And also with you. Thank you so much. All right, Mets, roll that.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin Edward Thompson, for coming on our show this evening. Yes, I purchased the book on Amazon while the show was going, and we will post a link on our Facebook page later this week where you can get the book for yourself. That is the least that we could do for you coming on our show, so thank you very much.
That was such a fun interview.
Yes, I can see you too. That was really great. I really, really enjoyed it. I really could have kept listening to. I was like, really, like, and I kept forgetting to click on comments too because I was just so into like listening. So I was like, oh no, Van's getting the comments because I'm not paying attention. I'm like, but then then there was moments where I was like, ooh, I want to look at who that actor is and like look up that actor. Look at this picture. Like I grabbed a quick picture from. My brain is blanking. The rainbow one over
the rainbow.
Oh yeah, okay. Under the rainbow. I had grabbed a picture of it right quick when you guys were talking about it. Here it is, right here. That is the picture I had grabbed right quick while you guys were talking. That I had Googled real quick to find. That's what I try to do when topics come up that I'm not necessarily prepared for. That's what I try to do.
Okay, so of course, I own a lightsaber store here. So of course, I'm a Star Wars fan. But I was most excited to find out that he was Chet in Weird Science. Dude, you don't know how much that movie is a part of my childhood.
I have not seen that movie in so long, and I was like, I gotta go watch that. It's been like probably 20 plus years since I've seen it. If you want to check out Kevin's IMDb and also I believe his Instagram is linked actually in the description below. And yes, we will put his link to his book on our Facebook page this week for you guys to check out. So I thank you so much. Moving on, I can't even speak tonight. Moving along, we guys have Kevin Hogan. Who's Kevin Hogan? He's actually in our chat right now, and he was hanging out with us. He is our producer for Kevin's Comic-Con Adventures. You have no idea the amount of conventions we actually have in Northern California every week. He goes to them, he reports on them, and he tells you about future ones upcoming. So please enjoy Kevin Hogan's Comic-Con Adventures.
Hello, this is Kevin Hogan from Northern California with an episode of California Comic-Con Adventures. On the weekend of October the 8th, 2023, our friends over at Ohana Comic-Con had another one of their fun events, this time in Hanford, California. Ohana Comic-Con, as you know, travels up and down the state of California every weekend, hosting another event in a different city. And Ohana Comic-Con often travels to very economical locations there, where admission's usually less than $10, and for kids 10 and under, it's free. And just a tip there that if you print off the Facebook flyer there's a $1 off coupon there if you bring that with you as well there. And usually there are places where there's free street parking, which is convenient, such as Moose and Elks Lodges and Veterans Halls, places like that there. And you get to see local vendor hall artists inside there with the different arts and crafts for sale there, different sports memorabilia. And if you stick around to the afternoon, usually around 2:30 is their cosplay contest there, so you get to hang out with your local friends there and see their fun costumes that they've been working on there and win some prizes there, which is always great fun for everyone there. So whenever Ohana Comic-Con comes to a town near you, definitely recommend checking it out. Also on the weekend of October the 7th through the 8th, 2023, was the return of the San Jose Super Toy Comic and Collectible Show at the Santa Clara County Fairgrounds in San Jose. There they had over 250 tables of vintage to modern toys, with comic books, records, pop culture collectibles, and lots of other stuff to see there. We got to see Steve Mead with his famous Star Wars R2-D2 droid rolling down the halls there, and we also got to see some fun cosplayers there, making everyone happy there while they were shopping the vendor halls there. So it was a great time for everyone to go down and find their favorite pop culture stuff there at the toy show. And there's lots more fun events up ahead. For example, on the weekend of Saturday, October the 21st, 2023, in the city of Lodi is going to be the Lodi Zombie Walk and Halloween Fair. And also in the South Bay area, in the city of Cupertino, on that same Saturday, October 21st, is the monthly South Bay Area Furry Bowling Night. That's over at the Homestead Bowling Alley. And also that same weekend, on October the 21st through the 22nd, our friends over at Ohana Comic-Con are going to have one of their fun Comic-Con events over at the Blue Lake Casino Hotel. And also on that same weekend, on October 21st to the 22nd in Sacramento, is going to be the Sinister Halloween Con event over at the Scottish Rite Center in Sacramento. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the picks, and we'll see you out there at the next Comic-Con.
Thank you so much, Kevin Hogan, for that report.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yes, if you'd like to review that, you can always come back and watch our upload. We don't mind. So thank you so much for that report. To be a reminder, if you guys want to check out the other shows that we have during the week, all of the information is in the description below. And I'm very excited about some stuff we also have coming up. We have 2 shows that are in pre-production to be added to our current slot.
Almost all of our hosts, except for me, I think I'm the only one, has shows on other programs as well. Graveyard does a podcast. Not only is he on with Distance Nerding, but he also does a show called We Mostly Pod Out at Night Mostly. Frey doesn't she have a Twitch?
So Frey, not Twitch, but Frey and her son Shadu, who also appear on Saturday Morning Nerd Out, they actually have their own YouTube channel. I'm gonna go ahead and just link all of their stuff right now in the chat.
That's right. Don't forget, Met has her Twitch channel twice a week.
Yes, I have a Twitch channel twice a week. You can check that in the chat right now. And don't forget, Aubrey actually writes music, guys. She has a degree in music and is really wonderful. So I'm linking her Spotify below. And then Fourzze, who is our Friday night host right now and appears in some other shows. He just recently came back from having to take like a hiatus. But he has stuff on saberfont.com that you can put sounds into your sabers.
And even James Kaiser, he makes the holocrons. He makes really cool holocrons. Nice. As well as owning one of the very few video cassette stores left in the country. So if there's an obscure movie that you're looking for on VHS, he is the man to talk to.
Maybe we can get information from him about his holocrons and how we can get information to people about that, so we can tell more people about it, where they can get them. And stuff.
I believe I can't check really quick because I'm not stuck in the computer. I don't know if you have a chance, but I believe he's on Etsy under DC Holocrons.
Okay, I will look that up later, and maybe we can post that on our Facebook page for people to check out. Yes. All right, guys, it is time for Talk of the Town. But don't forget to like and share our channel. We would love to keep growing and share in our nerdiness with everybody else. We just love our community and hanging out with you guys. We're less than 80 now away from doing our next Saber giveaway.
Oh wow!
I know.
Wow,
we're like, I think we're
this week.
We were like, no, wait, sorry, less than 80, less than 90. I don't know how to do math. Last I checked, we were like 1,513 subs at the moment. So thank you so much for every single one of you. And yes, now you're about to see the droids in a moment walking around Galaxy's Edge. So enjoy Talk of the Town, and we will see you later. Bye, guys.
See you next week.
I'm sorry. They're just a little shy. They want to say hi.